Hello everyone, welcome to Startup Academy. So in today's lecture we shall be discussing about the policies of Indian government for this month of September 2025. In the last lecture, as you all know, we had already covered for December. Okay. So for December we covered, then for November and then for October. So today is the day for September month. So moving on to our slide. Okay. This slide offers the scheme for 2025. So let's just discuss what it needs to tell us. Okay. This is the year 2025 and the month September. So you need to take off the note of the month as well. Okay, the first one that is coming to our part is GST. GST बहुत ज़्यादा important है. GST 2.0 पहले एक आ चुकी है. So this has been named as 2.0. Launch date was 22nd September 2025. This you need to remember. Another thing is Ministry of Finance किसने लॉन्च किया है? तो फाइनेंस ने लॉन्च किया है, जिसके मालकिन या फिर जिसके बादशाह आप बोल सकते हो निर्मला सीतारमन जी है. नेक्स्ट वी हैव इज ऑब्जेक्टिव. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? जो पूरा जीएसटी का सिंप्लीफिकेशन है, गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स के ऊपर जितने भी रूल्स लागू हैं उसको थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई वर्जन में हैज टू बी प्रेजेंटेड इन front of the public. So simplification is the basic thing that is aimed by GST 2.0. Next is reduction in compliance burden. Compliance burden refers to again the complex system that has been proposed in GST will be reduced by what? GST 2.0. Then is strengthening the digital tax system. As you all know, we are moving towards the digitalization of India. Therefore, digital tax system has also been strengthened. In GST 1 or in normal GST, the digitalization was basically introduced, and in this there will be nothing but strengthening of that system. So now what you can see is you can pay your taxes online as well. Like if you are late in paying the electricity bill, or if you are late in paying your any sort of bill, therefore the certain sort of charges shall be added to your tax, and that can be paid digitally. Also, when you are crossing the limits while moving in the vehicle of any vehicle of yours, so that also could be monitored by the digital sensors that are placed on the roads, and they can deduct your tax, or they can just verify the number or your vehicle number with through which we can get to know about you, and the government will ask you for the tax. That means the tax or the amount of overcharge or over limit that you have crossed will come to your registered phone number, and then you will have to pay the tax. So this is what called digitalization of tax. Next are the key features, that is reduced tax slabs is there, AI based compliance monitoring, and faster refunds. Refunds shall also be produced faster. So this is again the good feature, because as you have seen in VBG Ramji mode, the things or the amount or the payment was done on the same day itself by the end of the day. So here also, if we digitalize all the things, that means the funding and refunding of the systems from the government to the public, and their connection shall be monitored very easily and on the quick basis as well. So this is again the good feature of this. Now what you need to involve, this might come in your economy section, which is again an important question, ki what are the features that the finance ministry is obeying, or in which article is the finance ministry mentioned of our constitution. Also tell us about the difference or the differentiate between the GST and GST 2.0. Why is GST 2.0 more valuable than GST? So certain sort of questions can be seen in your upcoming examination. So for this GST 2.0 is important. Now we are moving on to the next scheme. For the next scheme we have what? Okay, for the next scheme we have nothing but PMAY Urban 2.0. जैसे That is Angikar campaign. Angikar campaign is quite important. Now you need to remember the date, which says that from 4th September to 31st October 2025 is its launch date, and it has been launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Not of your sort of importance, but it holds importance. Objectives are outreach campaign to identify eligible beneficiaries under PMAU 2.0, and the key features are door-to-door survey they would be providing, then the beneficiaries would also be benefited, awareness would be created, and DBT linkage shall also be initiated. Again, the UPSC relevance shows that you need to mention about the poverty the urban classes are facing. Again, the housing policy and inclusive growth shall also be included. So now this holds a bit little important. So in if it comes, so you can mention about its launch period, the ministry involved, and its objectives. That will be more than sufficient to gain marks. Then we have is Swasth Nari Shakti Parivar Abhiyan. Okay, if we talk about this scheme, this is quite important because the launch period is, again, because we are talking about the month of the September, so launch period is nothing but the September 2025. In this, which ministry is involved? The Ministry of Health and Family Affairs is involved. In the last few lectures, we have been discussing a lot about the family and health welfare, due to which you must be well aware who is actually the Minister of Health and Family Welfare. Then we have is objective: improve maternal and women health outcomes through nutrition and preventive care. What happens is Swasth Nari. Swasth refers to the health, Nari refers to the mother. Okay, here I will write Swasth refers to the health and Nari refers to the woman. Okay, so this scheme shall be working towards the upliftment and the welfare of the women who are serving or who are present in India today. Like obviously all the women shall be covered in this region. What happens is the women in are quite involved in taking care of others, so they forget to take care of themselves. That's why it becomes necessary for other members to think about the women inside the household. So the government brought up a scheme in which there would be an enrichment in the take care of the women, like they would be taking care of the women. How? That is, they would be providing them the health outcomes will be provided to the women, like they can go out for checkup, and a regular basis checkup for women is quite important as compared to the man. So here you can mention about the women ratio man, you can mention that, and their health features could also be mentioned. Health features. So such things also play a role if you will be moving or playing in terms of numbers. So that will be beneficial. But again, do not forget to write the exact number or put the approximate sign. Approximate sign holds great reference as you are statistician. So you must be knowing the value of the approximate sign and the value of the numbers. But in the run of preserving your numbers in your mind, you should not forget the basic target or the basic idea behind writing the answers. Okay, then is the key features, that is digital outreach. Again, every scheme that we have been studying or we have studied or we will about to study shall go out and will be presenting an outreach to digitalizing India. That is the basic mode or the basic platform that lays the basic structural information or the basis of every scheme that Indian government is launching is nothing but Atmanirbharta, and another thing is that digitalization. So both these things have to be involved in all the other schemes so as to make it even more evaluating and even more progressive towards the condition of India that we are facing nowadays. Then is the community and health participation. Unless and until more and more people would be grabbed and come in to involve in the health participation, such things shall not be of any use. What happens is there are certain localities in which the surveys could be held, like how many women are there in your area, or how many women are living in this particular place, how many women are suffering from such diseases, or how many women are working or not working. So survey would be collecting all the data, and such data shall be transferred to the government, who will witness all the things. After witnessing such things, they would be providing certain campaigns for yoga, for normal health checkups, or for visiting, or for what do we call that, monitoring all sort of their diseases that they have been going through, and their regular checkups will also be available. So those facilities shall be provided to the women or to the locality who for which the government shall be responsible. So this is what the scheme basically offers. Then is the key features we have discussed. Now the relevance is again the women empowerment and public health, SDG 3 and 5. Public health holds great importance, as you all know. Until and unless health is wealth, as you all know, health is wealth. So until and unless your health would be well, you will not be able to progress in your life, because the things will be going on in your mind, like I am not feeling well today, you are not feeling well today. So certain thoughts and certain things basically disturb the idea of moving ahead. So therefore health is wealth, so public health has to be taken care of. This is what this scheme favors or actually aims for. Now we are moving on to the Anganwadi co-location guidelines. Anganwadi से related we have covered a scheme जो सिर्फ आंगनवाड़ी के लोगों को ही दी जाती थी. तो दैट स्कीम वाज अगेन रिलेटेड टू द हेल्थ of women and the children of age 0 to 6. So if you remember the name of that scheme, you can mention in the comment section. Okay, now we are moving on to the next scheme, which says Anganwadi school co-location guidelines. Again, this scheme came in which month? It came in month of September 2025. And which ministry is involved? Women and Child Development Ministry of Education is also involved. So two ministries. One is the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and another is the Ministry of Education. I want to know who is the Minister of Education of Indian education system. So you need to mention the name. Okay, name starts with H. This is your hint, and H for homework. Okay. Now, what happens is, what will this thing be provided? Since school is related, therefore education is must. So what happens is, the objective is for ensure smooth transition from early childhood care to formal education. What happens is, people are basically fighting on basis of the language, like from Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana there are so many fights related to why Hindi, why not Telugu, why not Tamil. So such fights have always been in the history of India, and while studying polity, you will be learning about all these fights among and the protest among the people of the India of various regions. So therefore the separation of the state on basis of language was also done during that time. But anyway, that shall be a talk of polity. But here what happens is, when you are moving from early childhood age is a basic reference where children used to grab so many things, and once they are grabbed, they tend to keep it in their mind for a very long period of time. Take your case, you must have studied about ABCD and all, and that ABCD is helpful to you because you still remember that. So that is why the smooth transitions have to be made. So in order to take that under consideration, Anganwadi school co-location guidelines have been approved or have been covered by the Indian government, in which two ministries are involved, which says one is for women and child development and another is for Ministry of Education. They says what? Smooth transition from early childhood to formal education. Like घर में एक होता है, घर में पढ़ा देना बच्चों को चलते फिरते, हाँ ठीक है, that is fine. But the formal education system holds going to the classroom, sitting in the class for around 6 to 8 hours, and then doing homework, noting down all the things, all the passages are to be read, and all the contexts are to be taken care of. So this is basically the formal transition. So the formal transition takes time, takes efforts from both the sides, from the parent sides as well, from the child sides as well, and from the school sides as well. So until and unless all these things are taken care of, भविष्य तो बिगड़ जाएगा ना. तो भविष्य को सुधारने के लिए, in order to ensure the good future of India and obviously of Indian students, such things are to be launched. The key features: shared infrastructure, curriculum coordinates. Curriculum coordination. What happens is, in order to attract people, in order to attract students, you need to make things creative, colorful, attractive. So these things will be more than enough. If you will paint pictures on the walls, that will attract students. If you will paint the tables and desks with colorful items, so that will again be attractive. Also include them in the rest of the curriculum coordination, which will again be helpful, like taking them to play, making them do some artwork, making them play with the sand, making them play in the park, having them swings. So all these things will again be helpful. So such things are supported in Anganwadi school guidelines. Only these are the guidelines. These are not the things that are already inclusive, but these are in the guidelines, so therefore guidelines have to be followed. Next is the relevance. Again, the relevance says what? Human capital development has to be increased along with the education reforms. The change in the educational reforms is clearly observed since 2015. In 2015, Modi government came and it started the basic thing. First of all, that is the digitalization. Another thing they started was Atmanirbharta, and the third thing that was their focus was on education. So education was not only the part of just reading the books and grabbing all the NCRT topics and just omitting them out and passing in the examination. No, the thing has even more to conquered, that is, and we have certainly conquered few of the things, that is like most of the curriculum have been observed, the sports activity have been increased in the schools, and also the parents are supporting all such activities. Therefore the people of India or the future of India will be able to represent India in all the fields, not only in the field of science or technology, but in many other fields, including your sports and your mate games and every other things like that. Then is Day NRLM Strengthening Initiative. This is again related to your women sector or the urban sector or the housing finance, housing ministry, or certain sort of these things, because this refers to rural development of yours. Talking about the rural development of India, it holds a basic importance when it comes to the economy sector of India, because the major portion of India is nothing but the rural part. So conversion of rural to urban is not the basic aim. Providing all the facilities that are available in urban to the rural part is basically called the rural development and is the aim of the Modi government. So what they are offering, first of all, um, it came in year 2025 and month September. As you all know, we are discussing about the September month only, and it was proposed by Ministry of Rural Development. Then objective is to strengthen SHG based livelihoods and rural financial inclusion. Since it includes financial inclusion, so therefore it becomes the topic for your finance. But since there is a rural development, so it can be part of geography as well. So one thing that is part of geography and finance becomes quite important for your ISS examination. Another thing is there are other institutional partnerships like skill and credit support shall be provided. Then what you can write is women SHGs, you can talk about poverty alleviation, you can talk about, and rural development is obviously the key point. So that also you can take note of in writing an answer for Day NRLM Strengthening Initiative. Now we are moving on to the next one, that is Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana Bihar. This is quite important. You can mark it as important. Why? Because launching date is September 2026. हाल फिलहाल में there was an exam conducted by the Bihar government, and that was for the assistant professor, or I guess so, not professor, assistant Indian statistician, ISS only, I guess so. Indian Statistician Services, assistancy, somewhat of that post only, ASO job was there. So it was B grade job. You can write B grade job. So Bihar, uh, Bihar government decided to offer this exam. So that in that exam, this question was asked. So what happens? What happened in this is बिहार एज यू ऑल नो इज क्वाइट पिछड़ा हुआ है, मतलब इन सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक मेंटालिटी, इन सॉर्ट ऑफ थोड़ी दंगेबाजी ज्यादा होती है, मेंटालिटी मेंटालिटी थोड़ी लोगों के पीछे है। बट वी कैन नॉट सर्टनली से कि हाँ बहुत लोग पिछड़े हुए हैं बिहार के अंदर। नो, द पीपल इन बिहार लिविंग राइट नाउ और from Bihar are quite very smart and they are very intelligent। जो देश का पूरा कह सकते हैं भार है ना, तो वो बिहार के लोगों ने पूरा थाम के रखा हुआ है, बिकॉज मेनी ऑफ द पोस्ट हैव बीन टेकन बाय देम। तो देश का सारा भार किसने लिया हुआ है? बिहार के लोगों ने लिया हुआ है। बट जो धांधलेबाजी वहां पर देखी जाती है, या फिर आप कह सकते हो जितने भी ज्यादा करप्शन वाले सीन्स होते हैं, मार धाड़ वाले सीन्स होते हैं, लापता वाले सीन्स होते हैं, वो सारे बिहार के अंदर देखे जाते हैं। तो देयरफॉर वुमेन आर नॉट गिवन दैट मच रिस्पेक्ट द वन दे डिजर्व। देयरफॉर वहां पर मुख्यमंत्री जी ने एक नई योजना का आयोजन किया है, विच इज व्हाट, मुख्यमंत्री महिला रोजगार योजना। रोजगार रेफर्स टू द एम्प्लॉयमेंट। तो this was launched in September 26, 2025, and this was again implemented by the government of Bihar. Since your examination is central but belongs to the category of the women, and it talks about the major sector of India, that is the Bihar, therefore it becomes important for your UPSC ISS examination. Now, what this helps us is to, the objective of this is to promote women entrepreneurship through financial assistance. In the previous lecture, there was again the women entrepreneurship that was being preserved and that was being assisted, but there was the accessibility of trade. Here they would be providing the financial assistance, which holds the basic outlay or the outreach for the women. Those women who want to become the entrepreneurs can be can take help from the government of Bihar, which are promising the financial assistance to the women. So it becomes the thing to basic thing. If you are starting something, you all know that we all need money if we start to something. So starting something requires money, and that money will be provided to you by the government. Financial assistance they are promising. So what is the big deal? Why are you not taking step forward to become the new entrepreneur or new Nimrata? Next are the key features. Key features would be like 10,000 seat support would be there. Loans up to 2 lakhs shall be provided. So these things might appear to be like these are very basic things. बहुत ही ज़्यादा सस्ता है, बहुत ही ज़्यादा कुछ कम है, इतने से क्या ही होगा? Things can change even with the minute of the help. But if you are getting this much amount, those who are facing the tragedies inside the homes are getting so many things from the Indian government or from the state government. So such things are really beneficial, and they can just help them to uplift themselves, can help them to survive for their own self dependency. आप निर्भरता लेकर आएगी, which will again be helpful to India, because women nowadays are getting out of their homes, getting into the market, getting in all sectors possible, so they can do well. Obviously, they have proved themselves since the history started. So why not now? Now the relevance is the state best practices is to support the women, the public, the children, and every member of the state has the support of the government. So that is the best thing state government can do. And here the financial assistance is being given to the women of which state? Of Bihar. So again, this is the best thing the Bihar government can offer. Again, the women empowerment and cooperative federalism is again involved. So this was all for today. Huh. So this was all for today. We shall continue in the next lecture with another month. Till then, stay blessed and thank you for watching.